Welcome back to the Pig Drill Show. It is now time for our Hog Hoops report with Kevin McPherson, as always. And Kevin, let's start things off talking about a big-time recruit for Arkansas, Jordan Walsh. He's getting ready to make his decision sometime soon.
Yeah, he had an official visit to Kansas over the weekend. This is a guy that I felt like for weeks, maybe Arkansas has been in the lead for. When you look at his most recent visits, obviously I just mentioned Kansas this weekend, but prior to that, Memphis and Texas. I think the Longhorns have really improved their status with Jordan Walsh. At the end of the day, he recently has said a couple of times publicly, made it known that he is going to make it a commitment announcement at the end of October. Tara, I don't know that he has any more visits coming up after this weekend, and I'm not so sure that we won't hear something sooner than that, possibly as early as the coming week. So, going to keep an eye on that if you're Razorback fans. I have felt like since his late June visit, as I mentioned, that Arkansas might be the leader for his services. Again, Texas, I think, is right there. So, if it's a two-team race, those would be the two teams I'm guessing he'll choose from at the end. He's always talked about an affection for Kansas growing up. He just took that visit. So that's maybe the dark horse here, but I think it's the Hogs and Longhorns for Jordan Walsh. And if we have to wait a couple more weeks, because that's when he said he'll commit, we're still going to find out fairly soon, but I won't be surprised if it's in the next few days. And look, 6'7" combo forward, ESPN ranks him number 7, a high level 5-star. If you're in the top 10, you have a case to make that you're the best player in the country. And this guy's versatile. He can knock down 3-point shots. His length and athleticism around the basket is elite because this guy finds ways to attack the rim and play and finish above it. He plays through contact. So he can play an inside-out game, very versatile. We know Eric Musselman likes guys that can defend multiple positions and bring different matchups to the floor that are unique to give Arkansas an advantage. So Jordan Walsh checks those boxes. But again, when you look at Nick Smith Jr., the first 5-star that Eric Musselman recently landed while at Arkansas, Jordan Walsh, I mean, what if you could book in those any 2 5-stars, you can't get much better than those two. We'll see what happens to Jordan Walsh, but I think that decision could be just days away.
Yeah, we're going to definitely keep our eye out for that. But I know Arkansas fans are also excited to get a look at the current Arkansas team right now, and they're going to be hosting their annual red-white game again. What are you hearing about this one?
Well, they didn't have it last year because of obviously the pandemic, and so in Musselman's first season, he went old school. He did a throwback '80s theme and opened up Barnhill Arena for the first time in decades for men's basketball game. They're going to do that again. They're back in Barnhill Arena a week from today, the 19th. And look, it's not only an opportunity to showcase the current team, who on paper might just be his most talented team in 7 years of coaching, but it's a chance to get recruits in to see that atmosphere, that basketball environment with the Razorback fans, who we know will show up in big numbers for what's basically a glorified scrimmage. But you've got several recruits coming in. So, if we start talking about, showcasing players, I think Devo Davis, obviously, in his sophomore season, is sort of the centerpiece of that team. Guys like Jalen Williams, Stanley Umide, DC Tony, Chris Likes, KK Robinson, several other players. Kamani Johnson will be making his debut. So several players that I think are in the mix to be in that rotation for Arkansas. So we're going to get to see that firsthand. But the recruits that'll be in there, let's go down that list real quick. You've got from the class of 2023, RJ Jones, a 6'3" guard out of Denton, Texas. Rivals ranks him in the top 70 among the top 70 players in the country at number 68, a 4-star. He's going to be on an unofficial visit for the red-white game. You've got 2 in-state recruiting prizes out of the class of 2024 that are going to be on an unofficial visit for that red-white game. Dallas Slim Thomas, a 6'7", pushing 6'8", wing combo forward out of Little Rock Parkview. He's already taken one unofficial visit the weekend of the Texas game, and he's coming back for the red-white game. And then K. Honor Boateng, a 6'5" wing out of Little Rock Central. He holds an Arkansas offer. He'll be making his first ever unofficial visit to Arkansas. And then you've got some other players, another in-stater from the class of 2023, Rashad Marshall out of Blytheville, a 6'8", 6'9" forward, very talented guy, athletic guy. I've seen him play a few times. I think it's good that Arkansas is getting him on campus. Still has 2 years to go to complete his high school level play. Right now has been mainly a mid-major recruiting focus, but he could move up to high major status. And then a guard out of Briarcrest Christian in Memphis. We know that Memphis pipeline, Jay Nash, a 6'1" point guard that's got multiple high major offers already. He was planning to take an unofficial visit back in September. He's now got it worked out where he can be back on campus and will be attending the red-white game. So those are just a few of the names. There may be more that we learn about this week with another week to go before that that intra-squad scrimmage, Tara.
Yeah, that red white game is going to be so much fun. I know we're all looking forward to that. And something else I want to talk about, it was really cool because Eric Musselman hosted a pro day for his team pretty recently. What have you heard about that and just kind of how practice is going so far for Arkansas?
That was on Tuesday, that pro day that you're talking about. I think it's a great opportunity. I think with all of Musselman and Keith Smart, with their NBA ties, Clay Moser, they had over 20 NBA teams represented on there in the Performance Center for pro day. And so it gives the current Razorbacks an opportunity to showcase their games and when the strides they've made as they enter this upcoming season. And so anytime you can get scouts putting eyes on you, obviously you want to put your best foot forward, but you've got a chance to carve out a name for them to remember later. And so what an opportunity. Arkansas had a light week of practice. I think they really focused on that pro day. They were off Monday. They came in, had the pro day on Tuesday. They were off again on Wednesday. They did practice Thursday and Friday, but look, for the last several weeks, there's been a bit of an injury bug, and Arkansas has not been doing much live scrimmaging. In fact, the last 2 or 3 weeks, none at all, from what I'm told.
Yeah.
So they've really been focusing on execution. And, to me, that's basically going through everything. You don't have to have full contact to get better. And I think Arkansas has really put a focus on that. Now, speaking of injuries, by the way, KK Robinson, the freshman guard last season, who missed most of the 2021 campaign with that broken foot, he had surgery. He's missed some practice time, but he returned week before last for a couple of late practices. He was back on the court again this week. And Jalen Williams, who was dealing with an aggravated ankle injury from a previous injury, had been out for a while. He returned to practice as well. So Arkansas still has a few players nicked up. Another good reason why you don't want to have a lot of live scrimmaging. If you don't have enough bodies to put out there, you can't risk injuring anymore going full contact. So at any rate, practice, from what I hear, the coaches couldn't be more pleased with the progress of this team, whether they're doing live scrimmage or drill work or focusing on execution. They like, when they look at it on paper right now, they see the talent. They're just trying to build chemistry, personnel combinations. I think they'll keep tweaking things for the next few weeks with the season opener, by the way, about 32 days away, November 9th at home against Mercer at Bud Walton Arena.
Man, I can't believe it's already that close. It's going to be a lot of fun watching this team this season. There's so much talent for sure. And there's a lot of talented pro Hogs right now to look forward to and to watch. So what updates do you have for us on some of the pro Hogs and what they're doing right now?
Well, we know it starts with Bobby Portis, and he just won an NBA title with the Milwaukee Bucks. He's back with the Bucks. As preseason has gotten underway this first week, he's actually not played yet. He had a hamstring injury he suffered a week ago during a scrimmage, a Bucks scrimmage, and so he's been out with that. But there's plenty of other former Hogs to talk about, and I think right now, based on the storylines from this past week, it starts with Isaiah Joe next, of guys who actually did play. Joe's entering his second season. He was a second-round draft pick with the Philadelphia 76ers 2 drafts ago. Saw limited action last season, actually helped the team a little bit as a rookie. But going into year 2, he's fighting for a rotation spot on that team, and through 2 preseason games, averaging 16.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 steals to lead the team. And his shooting from the 3-point range, no surprise to anybody that it's really good, but he takes them in volume. But when you're shooting 53%, which he is, as many as he takes, you're putting the ball in the hole at a high clip. And he doesn't toe the line on some of these shots. He's way behind that line. And it's actually elite range when you start looking at some of the guys that can do that. Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, there's a few that can do it. Isaiah Joe's maybe that next guy, but he's had an outstanding preseason so far. And then when you look at Daniel Gafford now in his 3rd season, he's now with the Washington Wizards, finished up with that team, helped him get into the playoffs, and he had a strong playoff run last year. And so far early in the preseason, he's not coming off the bench anymore. He's a starter. We'll see how that goes, but he's played well in a couple of games. And then Moses Moody just, helped Arkansas to an Elite 8 national final top 10 ranking last year. Everyone knows just a few months ago, he went in the lottery, number 14 at Golden State. The Warriors have, one of the best backcourts in the NBA. We talked about Seth Curry. Klay Thompson will be coming off injury after not playing 2 years, a perennial all-star. And they've got other pieces. But Moses Moody has been really good in 3 games. When you look at this last game against the Lakers on Friday night, he had 10 points, 3 of 3 from 3, but he was playing in the 4th quarter in a tight game. And the Lakers still had some of their veteran rotational players on the floor. And Moses Moody hit some clutch shots down the stretch to help the Golden State hold on to win. So keep an eye on Moses Moody. I don't know that he's going to be a top 10 rotation player, but the way he's playing right now, he's got a chance, especially with COVID, injuries, things that creep up in an 82 game schedule. But he's showing that he's worthy already after 1 week in preseason play.
Kevin McPherson, always great catching up with you and learning more about the Razorbacks and some pro hogs. Appreciate all of your insight. That's going to wrap it up, though, for our Hog Hoops report this week. We'll be back with more on the pig trail right after the break.